This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. Commander 6th Division Garrison, Commander Sector 3 Joint Task Force South-South Operation, Delta Safe, Brigadier General Edith Effiong has stated that synergy among security agencies is critical to the success or otherwise of military operation. In a statement signed by Acting Deputy Director 6th Division Army, Public Relations Major Jonah Danjuma, Brigadier General Effiong made this known when the Commander 115 Special Operations Corps Group, Nigerian Air Force, Group Captain Ali Diris paid in a costly visit in the office in Borikam, Port Harcourt. Brigadier General Effiong noted the significances of synergy between the Nigerian Army and NAVs, especially in the fight against criminality, adding that the jointness and the synergy is one way to avoid casualties, as all of the services needed each other to be able to operate effectively. Earlier in this remark, the Commander 150 SOG Group Captain Diri said his visit was necessary to familiarize himself with military formations around Port Harcourt, which he said will strengthen the existing relationship among the services. He stressed the importance of collaborative effort in military operation, adding that it is critical in mitigating security challenges and ensuring stability in a joint operations area. Rivers State Police Commissioner of Police Emeka Nwoye has decorated 913 Assistant Superintendents of Police ASP newly promoted from Inspector rank to ASP. CP Nwoye, while decorating the ASPs, warned that they show no corruption or any other act that will be minimal to the image of Nigerian police force. The Rivers Police Boss also advised the newly promoted officers to be professional in the discharge of their duty and in dealing with the public, urging them not to indulge themselves in civil matter. CP Emeka thanked the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Batokun, and Chairman of Police Service Commission, Solomon Aras, for the recommendation and subsequent approval for the recommendation. ASP Jacob Chidebere, who gave votes of thanks on behalf of the newly promoted ASP's, thanks IGP, Chairman Police Service Commission, and Commissioner of Police for finding them worthy of the promotion. Rivers State University Teaching Hospital says it has recorded 15 successful brain surgeries. The management of RSUTH said the achievements were recorded between May, after the institution was transformed from a secondary health provider to tertiary, and August this year. Speaking on Atlantic Television, a public affairs analyst Ogbonna Woke applauds medical expert at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital for such a record-breaking milestone achieved.
Clearly, I believe that the foundation is being laid now. Recall that some years back, the same hospital was responsible for knee surgeries, and experts were flown in to come to carry out those complicated surgeries. But one of the good things that has happened here is that the hospital has been elevated to a teaching hospital and put under the management of critical professionals, professors and all, who it makes me happy that we can carry out surgery that's related to.
He also cited important economic impacts it will imprint on the national economic and also positively projecting the Nigerian medical sector globally, while urging both the state and federal government to provide necessary digital health facilities for more medical breakthrough.
The residence of the Nigerian doctor has never been in doubt. And no matter what we have said about the quality of education in Nigeria, it's always been something to be excited about each time people talk about Nigerian doctors, Nigerian nurses. And it shows It shows that our medical schools are worth the while, that actually we're imparting knowledge, and that government too, let's give that to them, that they're helping to provide basic infrastructure, which are driven by IT these days. Because if you didn't have them, you can't do.
Following the anticipated flooding, with the release of the water from Lado Dam in Cameroon into the River Niger and Benue, farmers in flood-prone Delta State communities has commenced premature harvest of crops. The farmers, who are mainly from communities in Ndokwa East, Ndokwa West, Patani, Ugele North, Ugele South, and other flooding-prone local government areas in the state, are also preparing elevated platform to store their agri products. Some of the residents of their agrarian communities are also currently facing anxious moments as they brace up for the harsh realities of the impending disaster, said they do not want to be taken unaware by the flood. Youth President of Asaklan Dokwa East Local Government Area, Prince Clinton Erioma, also said the people have started panic harvest of their crops, adding that the resident has commenced construction of elevated places to keep their crops. Meanwhile, the Delta State government has inaugurated a 14-man 2023 Flood Disaster Management Committee, the committee, which has a security secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Emo, as its chairman, and the Commissioner for Special Duties, Ejiro Tari, as co-chairman, is to propose appropriate measures for the prevention and management of flooding. It is also added to address displacement of people and suggest ways to provision of relief materials to victims. Following the protests that rocked the announcement of the People's Democratic Party stalwart are the representative of the state in NDDC board, Cross River State, Governor Prince Basioto has expressed confidence that President Bola Tinubu will address the issue in party interest and equality. But to give the assurance while addressing protesters, Thursday at the Dan Achibonte temporary office in Calabar, the Cross Rivers capital. The protesters and the march to the State House of Assembly complex to address the Speaker, Right Honorable Evert Ayambam, on their position before proceeding to their displeasure on the recent announcement of a PDP steward and former Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Asu Okang, as the representative of the state on the board of NDDC. The governor assured the protesters to remain law-abiding as he remained confident that the president, being an astute politician and accomplished technocrat, will look into correcting the wrongdoing the APC in Cross River State by the announcements. Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a resolution directing the state government to support the executive breastfeeding initiative in the health sector by extending the period of maternity leave for nursing mothers in the state public service from the existing 84 working days to 6 months. The passage of the resolution at plenary recited over by the Speaker Olakune Oluomo followed a motion moved by the Majority Leader Yusuf Sherif and seconded by Minority Leader Lukman Adeleye, who sponsored the resolution. Opening debate on the resolution, Adeleye stated that the process extended for the executive breastfeeding has been practiced in other southwest states was targeted at the nurturing healthy children with strong immunity and high-level intelligence quotients. According to Adeleye, the resolution would assist in recognizing the crucial role of exclusive breastfeeding in the overall health and well-being of infants and nursing mothers, stating that there was a need for extension of period and maternity leave to enable nursing mothers breastfeed their babies effectively. Ebonyi State government, led by Governor Francis Nwafuro, has commenced the upgrade of the Chukba-Okadibo Airport Railway to international standard. The State Commissioner for Aviation and Technology, Ngozi Obiachukwu, said that the expatriates has been constructed to upgrade the airport's runway. Obiachukwu said the upgrade of the runway from concrete to standard aspirating into enhancing the operation of the foreign airline and other flight movement at the airport. The Aviation Commissioner, who assured foreign airline and travelers of adequate protection and safe landing at the airport, said the runway is of concrete instead of asphalt. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. Committee of Federal Polytechnic Rector has denied allegation of bribery and extortion by the members of the ad hoc committee investigating job racketing in ministry departments and agencies of government. Leaders of the team, Ayaya Mohammed Bande, denied the allegation that the federal rector appeared before the ad hoc committee investigating job racketing and management by MDAs and government institutions. Chairman of the ad hoc committee began the investigating hearing with the question to clarify the bribery allegation against the ad hoc committee, but the allegations were promptly dismissed by the committee of rectors. The committee says it is only interested in knowing if there was any transaction between the rectors and the owners of the said accounts that was linked to any members of the ad hoc committee.
Have you, prior to this invitation that you appear here today, have you ever appeared before this committee or subcommittee of investigating employment racketeering, or an individual member of this committee about the activities of this committee? Have you ever been invited or any issue? Have there been any account number given to you to send money to a member of this committee?
Mr. Chairman, this is the first time we are even seeing any chairman or any member of this committee today.
The report was that Federal Polytechnics rectors were given an account number by a member of this committee to contribute money in it, and committee members were termed as corrupt committee. We have never invited you today. To the best of my ability, I'm under oath as a representative of the Nigerian people that we are interfacing with you. So, can you tell this committee in clear terms your relationship with any member of this committee?
The Committee of Directors is not in receipt of any account number or account name by any member of this committee sitting today. I will say it under oath that we have not received any account number from any member of this committee.
The chairman insists that the committee would not fall for any form of blackmail, insisting that it will go ahead with the investigating hearing and come out publicly with its report and recommendations. Recall that an online medium is in an investigative report reported how some members of the ad hoc committee had asked Vice Chancellor of the universities and the head of the tertiary institutions to pay certain amount of money as bribe into a bank account in order to give them a soft landing. The committee will also interact with the Vice Chancellor of the universities, who are also expected to appear before it and state their own side of the allegations, as well as furnish the committee with details information as to recruitment carried out till date. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the rearrest of inmates who escaped from prison in the country between 2021 and 2022. The Minister of Interior, Dunami Tunjiojo, who disclosed this at a briefing in Abuja, said the resident wanted the escapee inmate recaptured as quickly as possible. Between 2021 and 2022, there were at least 7 attacks on prison across the country where a large number of inmates escaped. No fewer than 4,000 inmates who escaped from the 7 prisons, including Kuji, Kogi, Jos, Abologo, Wari, Okitipupa, and Oko prison are still at large. The minister disclosed this after inspecting facilities at the Nigerian Immigration Service and Nigerian Prison Service, said the service would work hard to ensure the order given by the president on fleeing inmates was followed to the letter. He also said the Nigerian Prison Service would work in collaboration with security agencies in the country to recapture them. And now to some business reports. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria said, contrary to claim of unavailability of petroleum products, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has directed marketers to begin loading at PNLC Depot in Ibeco, Lekki, Lagos. This is coming on the heel of current repair ongoing at the vandalized pipeline which supply products to satellite depots. Speaking, the president of IPMAN, Chinedu Okoronkwo, said NNPCL has assured marketers that it has enough supplies and was addressing the issues of pipeline vandalization. Okoronkwo said the issues of pipeline leak would be addressed soon and that NNPCL has now directed marketers to begin loading at the Peninsular Depot in Igbegu, Kogi, Lekki in Lagos. Consequently, the marketer said it will be unprofitable to import at current pump price, while the government has not guaranteed a free flow of pump price. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has condemned the abuse of tax incentive and waivers, describing it as economic sabotage by perpetrators who must not be allowed to continue. The speaker said this while inaugurating the ad hoc committee investigating allegation of abuse of tax incentive, tax breakers, and tax waivers by public institutions and companies benefiting from tax incentives. The speaker, who was represented by the House leader, Professor Julius Inovobere, said the investigative hearing by the House seek to achieve, amongst other things, to put an end to such acts of economic sabotage and ensure transparency, accountability, and fairness in our tax system.
The purpose of this investigation is to end all forms of economic sabotage and ensure transparency, accountability, and fairness in our tax system. I therefore call on all relevant stakeholders, including government agencies, public institutions, and companies benefiting from tax incentives, to cooperate fully with the committee's investigation for the House to have a full understanding of the tax system with a view to taking appropriate legislative action.
Chairman of the committee, Honorable Abubakar Yelaman, while addressing journalists, said taxes enable governments to raise the necessary fund needed for development.
Have you, prior to this invitation that you appear here today, have you ever appeared before this committee or subcommittee of investigating employment racketeering, or an individual member of this committee about the activities of this committee? Have you ever been invited or any?
We need to look into this issue of tax waivers, tax incentives given to companies. The purpose of giving them is to see that at least they contribute or they bring their own quota towards the development of the economy of the nation. But unfortunately, there are some gaps and leakages. That is why this committee is created, to see that how we are going to fill the gaps, to make sure that at least Nigeria didn't depend on borrowing. Because if there is gap in the issue of tax, we'll face a lot of challenges. That's what leads us to be borrowing. We are trying to see that we, at least if we didn't eradicate, we at least see that we reduce to a minimal level, that at least what's supposed to be done as far as tax incentives and waivers is concerned, we have.
The investigative hearing by the ad hoc committee will commence next week, with MDAs mandated to appear before and to international tidbits. Singapore's headed to the polls Friday in a city-state face contested presidential election. In more than a decade, a vote being closely watched as an indication of the support for the ruling party after a spate of political scandals. The president's role is largely ceremonial, but there are stringent requirements for the position, which formally oversees the city's accumulated financial reserve and hold the power to veto certain measures and approve anti-graft probes. While the presidency is a non-partisan post under the Constitution, political lines were already drawn ahead of the election to replace incumbent Halima Yacob, who ran unopposed for her 6-year term in 2017. The Prime Minister ran the city-state government, currently Lee Hsien Loong of the People's Action Party, has ruled Singapore continuously since 1959. The fourth runner in is former Deputy Prime Minister and Financial Minister Taram Shanmugaratnam, a long-term PAP steward before they resigned ahead of their candidacy. The 66-year-old economist is widely perceived as having the government's backing and was questioned about his independency during the campaign. Another candidate, former insurance executive Tan Kin Lane, 75, has gained the support of several opposition leaders. The third contender, Ng Kor Song, 75, is the former chief investment officer of Singapore's Sovereign Wealth Fund, GIC, which manages the country's foreign reserves. The vote will have no exit poll before the result is announced late Friday night. And now to entertainment news. That's the size and the package. Thanks for watching. I am Immaculata Irikana. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Thanks for watching. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress.